Growl. Good morning, Hazard, Kentucky. This is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show, Eastern Kentucky. Good morning. It's a little bit after 9 a.m. in Eastern Kentucky. It's a little bit after 8 a.m. Central here in Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama. It's an outstanding city. It's an outstanding state. The weather here never changes. It's always hot, humid, and racist. Sorry, that's simply the truth. That's the way that it is. This is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. Today is, what is today? Today is Monday, March the 9th, 2026. We are continuing to discuss, expose, and shut down the corruption, the child predators, the pedophilia, and the pedophiles light that are evidently throughout that region. And this show is absolutely going to be concentrated from here on out on corruption, on child predators, on shutting down and giving people the voice that they need and want and sometimes cannot speak out for themselves. For example, I'm going to begin the show here in a second, but anyone, and hey, we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Anyone have any comments, questions, concerns? By all means, ask. Anyone wants to share anything, by all means, ask. I'm going to set it up where you guys can actually call in as well and get on the show, make some comments live, and we can go from that. We'll have that up and running by Wednesday, Thursday, and then we can go from there. Got a message yesterday. Evidently, this former principal in Perry County, Hazard, evidently, back in the day, and I mean back in the day as in just a couple years ago, he was getting lap dances from some of the male students at the high school. There was a lawsuit, and when he was becoming mayor, how he became mayor, I'm sure I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm sure I do know. I mean, it's Eastern Kentucky. It's Hazard. You know, people that are corrupt love people who are corrupt as well. They gather together in a little clique and they victimize everyone else and they look out for themselves only. And in this case, this Happy Mobalini, Happy Mobalini. That's what they call him, Happy. Here's the first clue for you on this, okay? Anyone whose nickname is Happy is probably not someone to be trusted. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. So, evidently, this guy was becoming mayor, and there were a few people that were complaining. One of the persons that complained about that person reached out to me, and here's the thing. I never disclose who I talk to. Google recognizes me as a journalist. Do you know what that means? That means that, by God, law enforcement can suck it. That's what that means. I don't have to disclose my sources. Look at the Pentagon Papers. In that case, if you have any questions about that, law enforcement, companies, whoever else, I don't disclose sources. Not about to. Try it. All right. But this person reached out to me and were telling me that, hey, you know, when Happy, real name Donald, when Donald Mobalini, I like Mobalini better. When Happy Mobalini was becoming mayor, I complained about that. And my water bill went from $30 to $40 a month. It jumped to $200 and $230, $240, and ended at $900 a month. Now, for a water bill to be $900 a month, I can only assume that this individual had 3 or 4 sized Olympic swimming pools. Just saying. Just putting that out there. We are absolutely, make no mistake about this, we are absolutely going to decimate the entire Eastern Kentucky region, beginning with Perry County, Hazard, Kentucky, of the corrupt, of those individuals who prey upon children. That is going to happen. Hey, now, with that little opening, actually, I guess I've got 3 or 4 openings today. I guess I do. We're having trouble streaming to LinkedIn. This may be an issue on LinkedIn's end. We'll keep trying to let you know if it's resolved. Please check LinkedIn to ensure. I guess I'm going to remove. Yeah, let's remove destination. I'll upload to LinkedIn later. So, all right. So you guys let me know if I am coming through. If I am not coming through, if I've just started coming through right now, by all means, let me know that. All right. I'm Brett Johnson. This is the unpaid promo of the day, the Monster Energy Rehab Drink, tea and lemonade. It's lemonade as in lemon scented Lysol. All right. So that being said, I like to read. It's weird with me. For years, like everyone knows, or you should know by now, that I am a former criminal. I'm a former United States most wanted cyber criminal. I'm the person that's responsible for modern day cybercrime, financial cybercrime, as we now know it. If you've ever wondered, I wonder where all that began with credit card theft and phishing schemes and tax return identity theft and all the fraud and scams and all that crap that goes on online. Well, now you know. Me, I'm largely responsible for the state of modern day cybercrime as we see it today. All right. Nothing to be proud of. I was given a chance to turn my life around through the FBI, through my wife, Michelle, that I'm going through a divorce with right now, and through Carice Hendrick over, she's a fraud analyst, a great individual, and through the cybersecurity and fraud prevention communities. I'm ambassador for AARP. I speak across the planet, consult with the largest companies. I'm on several documentaries. Netflix, I'm on the world's greatest crypto heist. I'm on Web of Make Believe, episodes 5 and 6. Over on Hulu, Black Market, season 2, episode 1. Also, I've got a Japanese. I know. Do I speak Japanese? No. I'm American. I speak American. But I've got a Japanese documentary out about the Bitfinex heist back in, several years ago. So I know my stuff when it comes to cybercrime, fraud. I absolutely social engineering. I'm at one point I was the best social engineer on the planet. Today, I would rank myself top 5 on the planet. All right, and that's not conceited or embellishing or anything else like that. I begin this show usually, and I'm going to do this here in a second. What I was getting at is throughout my life, I have had what I call the Langston Hughes problem. Langston Hughes has a poem where he talks about being at a revival, and all the other children are getting up and they're going up to be saved, and he keeps waiting for Jesus to show up before he goes, and he figures everyone else is seeing Jesus, and he just, he's a child, and he keeps waiting and waiting, and Jesus never shows up, and he doesn't get up and go. I've had that problem, that profound lack of faith, that not seeing Jesus, and I don't have that problem anymore. And this is not a religious show. I'm not trying to convert anyone or anything else like that. I'm telling you my journey and everything's went on. I've had profound problems with faith. And the thing is that these days I've turned my life around. I'm turning my life around. I work every day to be a better person than I was the day before. And I am where I am today because of everything that I've done in the past, good and bad, everything that has been done to me in the past, good and bad, all of the people that I have met. I am exactly where I am supposed to be today, right now, doing this right now because of all those things. And that is not coincidence. So every single day, I believe in God more and more every single day. I don't know what everyone's, separate journey has been like or is like. Mine started, for example, I had a mom, and my mom's still alive. She's in Letcher County, Kentucky, and we're going to be exposing all the corrupt throughout all these counties. We absolutely are. We're going to clean up this area. I had a mom that when I was a child, she would use religion as a tool to abuse her children. And my mom had some issues. She still has some issues. For example, when I was a child, I told this story on the Brett Johnson show a few weeks ago before we got started on Eastern Kentucky. I had a mom. I was, I don't know, 8, 9. My sister Denise, a year younger. And we were in Panama City, Florida at that point in time. And my dad, the only job he could get, we moved from Hazard down ultimately to Panama City. The only job he could get was as a midnight clerk at the 7-Eleven. He had been a helicopter pilot, a captain in the military. He had dropped out of that to strip mine coal. Of course, at that point in time, coal was either boom or bust. Most of the time, bust, because the unions would go on strike. And at that point in time, the unions cared more about the unions than the workers. So a lot of the workers were on unemployment, food stamps, things like that, and weren't making any money. So my dad, he got that job. My mom was a nurse. She would keep typically an LPN. She would keep her job typically long enough to see my dad off to work, and she'd go off and cheat on him and party. This night she was at home. Me and my sister were in my room playing Atari, and my mom yells for us, and we go in, and she's in the living room. Got all the lights out, candles burning, incense burning. She's cleared off the coffee table. She's got 2 dining room chairs sitting facing one another. And she tells us that and now I'm 8 or 9, my sister Denise a year younger, and she tells us, hey, I've sold my soul to Satan so that you and your sister can have a good life. And the thing is when you're an adult, you're able to recognize bullshit when you see it. When you're a child, you can't make rational decisions. You're a child. You don't understand these things. And children believe that. So what my mom wanted us to do was prove that we were worth her doing that. And the way that we were to prove that, she would sit in one chair. We would take turns sitting in the other. And we would keep eye contact. Don't blink. You can't blink. And she would let Satan come out through her eyes. And we were supposed to think happy Jesus thoughts to show that we were worth her doing that. And that lasted for hours. And that was not just a one-time thing. So because of that, I have had problems with religion and faith, but I've come unto understanding and accepting. The lyrics I'm going to read this morning, we're going to get started on this. The lyrics I'm going to read this morning are from Alabama 3. Those who do not know, if you've ever watched The Sopranos, God, that's a horrible drink. If you've ever watched The Sopranos, the theme song, Woke Up This Morning, is by A3, Alabama 3. This is a song called Converted. 40 days, you've been tired and tempted. 40 nights, you've been out in the cold. Every phone line conversation's intercepted and you can't reconnect because the frequency is closed. So many miles you've been out of direction, so many signs, but you ain't got nowhere to go now. The Cadillac has got its headlights disconnected. You're rolling your wheels down the wrong side of the road. Can you see them now? Can you see them now? Can you see the sisters swinging? Can you hear them now? Can you hear them now? Can you hear the brothers singing? Let's go back to church. Let's go back to church. So damn long since we've sung this song. Let's go back to church. Let's go back to church. Any day now. Any way how. Let's go back to church. You drink the wine, but it tastes like water. And you broke the bread, but it had turned to stone. The sacrament, it lay scattered on the pavement. And the covenants you've kept, they've all been stolen and sold. You can see them now. Yeah, you can see them now. You can see the sisters swinging. I know it now. Yeah, you can hear them now. You can hear them now. You can hear the brothers singing. Let's go back to church. Let's go back to church. It's been so damn long since we've sung this song. Let's go back to church. Any day now, any way, anyhow, let's go back to church. Right back, right back. Yeah, because I'm down with the streets. I'm down. Yeah, because I'm down with the street angels on this one, preacher. I ain't going away. No way. Church is where I'm going to stay. Every time I come to church, I feel a glow, alive, resuscitated. Ain't no fear. I chase all my blues away right here in church. Yes, sir. Going to lift up my soul to the sunshine. Yeah, the lights in heaven are going to shine. I'll feel so fine. People get ready. There's a train a-coming. That is Converted by A3. And I see someone online. Who is this? Who are we? So, the defense rest. Good morning, sir. Oh, my God, the good old Atari. I know, right? The 2600 was outstanding, except that joystick would break every third day, and you have to buy a new one, which, nowadays it's the drift on the sticks for the controllers. Defense rest. I'm an atheist. Thank God. I know, right? So, I wouldn't have called myself an atheist. I would have said I'm an agnostic, which is atheist light, which is kind of interesting now that I said that. A lot of people reached out to me, a lot of people talking about the corruption, the child predators, the pedophiles, the retribution that takes place in Eastern Kentucky. And we've got a lot of toe lickers, people who toe the line in Eastern Kentucky, and that's got to end. That's got to end. I've had a lot of people reach out to me about a lot of school members, principals included, like Happy Mabaluni, a lot of principals included, that are evidently what I like to term pedophile light. And what I mean by that is that they're not, we're public figures, and man, we do like them young, but I don't want to go that far, because in the community I may not get elected. People may hold that against me. There might be something bad. Okay, the feds. We can't control the feds a lot of the time, so I'll just let them give me lap dances, or I'll wait until one of them's a senior and date them at that point in time. God bless. I honestly do not know what the hell is wrong with some of these people, not only in Eastern Kentucky, but nationwide. But it's very pervasive in Eastern Kentucky. I had someone reach out to me on Facebook, and this Angie Green, I believe is this girl's name. She was hammering me because I'm calling out and addressing the problems there. And she makes this comment: my dad was 21 years older than my mom. Now say something about that. Well, guess what, Angie? I'm saying something about that right now. My response was, well, how old were they when they met? She did not answer that. Here's the thing, all right? There's kind of a simple rule to go by. What you do is you take the person's age, you divide it by 2, and then you add 7 years, and that sort of maybe kinda gives you an idea of how young of an age range that you can date. And I mean actually date. That being said, that does not mean that it's okay to molest a child. If that person is a child, I don't give a damn. It's not right. Okay? If you're in a position of power, there's a reason that Bill Clinton is so derided these days. And the reason is that he was in a position of power. Now, yes, Monica Lewinsky was an adult. He was in a position of power. When you're in a position of power, that allows you to manipulate other individuals, women, or if you're a woman, men. It allows you to manipulate these people for sexual favors. They already are looking upon you like, oh, he's so important. Oh, I like him a lot, or I like her a lot. And It allows that person in power to manipulate you. And that's exactly what Bill Clinton did. All right. Trump is no different. He has done that as well. I don't know if he's currently doing it in office, but he's done that throughout his life as well. All right. People in power need to be held accountable. There's a reason that so many jobs have that against the rules. You'll get fired for that. And that's why. All right. These people who are in the school system that have, some sort of sexual or romantic interest in students, that's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. And to accept that or to allow that should not even be a question. All right. It should not. We as a community should be calling that bullshit out. And I say we as a community because I still consider myself an Eastern Kentuckian. I still know what the hell's going on there. I still care. And by God, these days, I'm able to do something about it. Let's see what kind of comments we got. All the money being spent on the Epstein files, corruption from 20, 30 years ago, everyone is outraged about what happened. Yet it's happening today. We can't fix what happened 30 years ago. Let's fix right now. Hey, yeah, let's fix what's happening right now. And by God, that's what we're doing. All right. I have made political comments on the past. I'm an equal opportunity hater. I don't like either side because both sides are against us. They use us to gain power, favor, money. That's what they do to victimize us. All right. I'm against them all. I'm absolutely against this idea that somehow it's okay for people in power, school members, principals, coaches, to do this stuff to the children and to the citizens of Eastern Kentucky. There's something wrong with that. Absolutely, there's something wrong with that. We're broadcasting today on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, LinkedIn. You guys shit the bed this morning. I'll have to upload the show afterwards. Try not to shit the bed tomorrow. All right. So I started this campaign against the corruption and child predators of Eastern Kentucky last week. We've already had 3 people fired. There's going to be a lot more. There's going to be some jail time. Speaking of jail, it occurs to me that a county as corrupt as Perry County, Kentucky, and a lot of counties throughout Eastern Kentucky, but Perry County, it occurs to me that probably, and Scott, you need to be worried about this, Scott Alexander, county judge executives, son, anybody who's not seen this guy, I'm not going to pull his picture up, but anybody's not seen this guy, it would behoove you to pull his picture up. It would. This guy was dog ass ugly. I mean, a baboon's ass would have made him a good Sunday go to meeting face. This guy was so dog ass ugly in high school. I don't know how he ever procreated or had sex. I mean, and you look at him, and as soon as you look at him, you'd realize that, hey, obviously, not only would you have to put a brown bag, any woman have to put a brown bag over top of his head, but you look at him, you know immediately, this guy is probably not very sexually, he doesn't have his groove on. Probably couldn't screw his way out of a paper sack. I just, truthfully, look at him. And he was like that in high school. Today you look at him, and you're like, Scott, how the hell are you having sex with anybody? Who the hell would ever decide to get in bed with you? And the answer is positions of power. Positions of power. Eastern Kentucky is so poor. The disparity between rich and poor is so great that we people on the street, a lot of us, in order to get something, have to do something. Something really wrong with that. Something really wrong with that. And Scott, I want to tell you, it occurs to me that maybe the county jail over there See, it's not like I don't know something. I know a hell of a lot more than you think I do. And it's coming. It's not like the county jail over there wouldn't be the conduit through which a lot of the corruption takes place. Yeah, I know a little bit more than you think I do. To let you know, I told you I could tell you what was going on, and you couldn't do anything about it. I don't think you realize exactly what's going on. To the corrupt people, Happy Mobiluni, Scott Alexander, to the people who play favorites and are corrupt, Sheriff Joe Engel. I don't think you really realize what's going on. What you're seeing is something that very few people on the planet are able to do. I'm Brett Johnson. I am one of the best social engineers on the planet. I can launch and coordinate and be successful at large-scale social engineering manipulation schemes and tactics, solo, on the fly. I see things the way that you will never see them. I understand things the way that you will never understand them. I plot naturally several steps ahead so that I'm able to adapt on the fly. I anticipate in ways that you will never be able to do. I am going to win this. And it's not just I anymore. I have 200 to 300 people a day reaching out to me, telling me about the shit that you are doing. These people right now, they're scared of speaking up. But guess what? That shit is ending. What you don't understand is that the landscape changed last week. It changed the day that I started talking. Your dumb, ignorant asses just don't understand that yet. You don't understand this game is done. But you are going to understand it when you're behind that fence in Ashland, Kentucky, federal penitentiary. You're going to understand that then. And Scott, what you also don't understand is I'm a hell of a lot better connected with law enforcement, at least certain, federal elements of law enforcement, than Sheriff Joe Engel, you, the Mayor Happy Mobiluni, or anybody else. That's what you don't understand. And what you also don't understand is, by God, I've got the ability, the means, the willpower, and I am committed to doing it. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. Nothing. Welcome to 2026. It's a culture. You know how you change a culture? Same way you change your habit. By doing a certain thing over and over and over until it becomes that habit. Then it becomes part of your culture. The way you do it is you start talking about this shit. You start putting these son of a bitches in jail. You start getting these son of a bitches fired. Last week, we had Angie back, fired. She had one day of paid suspension. The next day, done. We're going to make sure we get rid of her certificate. We're working on this week. Bill back. Son, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be calling on the air trying to get your license revoked. All these calls are going to be on the air, by the way. We're going to try to get your license revoked. We're going to be calling Scott Alexander. Yeah, buddy. I want to talk to your ugly ass. Actually, I just want to ask the question. How are you getting laid? How are you getting laid? I don't know. Well, I do know, right? I mean, we both know. It's not like you can pull anything. So you rely on your position to get it. All right, if you're married, why are you cheating on your wife? Does your wife know? She probably does. But where's she going to go? Right. Yeah, that's the problem, right? Where's she going to go? So, yeah. Smicky Mouse 25. But I know in Lexington, teachers can only communicate with a student through a school-operated website where it's documented. Right. You're not supposed to be doing this shit through social media. But how many people in positions of power in Eastern Kentucky are using Snapchat, WhatsApp, Signal, Facebook, regular telephone, or anything else to contact our children? Too many, and not enough is being done about it at all. Blue is a vicious cycle. The same issues are coming up in many of the small towns in Kentucky because we live in different times. We do, but we can get right back to being a good damn people. All right. Oh, the wife is evidently cheating too. Well, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. That's the thing, right? Scott is cheating on his wife. She knows that she's going to go out and start cheating too, as if that makes a difference. No, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't. It doesn't make a difference. I am told, here's a little tidbit for you. So, Scott Alexander, to give you some idea of the federal trouble that he's in, and he's in a hell of a lot more than that. Scott Alexander, county judge executive for Hazard, Kentucky, or Perry County, Kentucky. I am not saying that he is a pedophile. I don't know. I'm not saying he's a child predator. I don't know. I know he's a predator overall toward his electorate. I know that. All right. I'm wondering why he employs someone at the county jail to do, billing practices and all this other stuff when that person has a felony. When that person, by federal law, let me say that one more time, by federal law, is disbarred, not supposed to be working at that facility at all. Yet, he pays that individual about $55,000 a year. That seems in violation of federal law to me. That's just one thing. Jesus Christ, just one thing. Happy Mobbaloonie. It's all about chasing money. You chase the money, you will find out what's going on. You will get these son of a bitches in trouble. And, we can start cleaning up this area. So, happy Mobbaloonie. The people of Eastern Kentucky, those floods came through. And for, I guess even still today, this many years later, people of Eastern Kentucky, of Perry County, are still suffering because they did not get the relief that all of those dollars coming in promised that they were going to get. For example, Happy Donald, the mayor of Hazard, Kentucky, they do a GoFundMe campaign to raise up money for destroyed Eastern Kentucky. Meanwhile, Chris Stapleton, love that man. Chris Stapleton, he's out there actually shoveling the mud and shit off the roads, while Happy Mobbaloonie and the corrupt individuals of Perry County are on the radio and on a GoFundMe campaign saying, we need all this money to help rebuild Perry County and to help all these people who have been destroyed. Their lives have been destroyed. I would hate to even think the hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars that came in through that GoFundMe campaign, that money from overseas. Money from overseas that was wired into bank accounts in Eastern Kentucky. And that money, did that money go to putting people to repairing their homes? It didn't. Did it go to cleaning up roads and repaving and rebuilding bridges? And it didn't. Did it go to helping people of Eastern Kentucky? It did. To Happy Mobbaloonie and his clique. That's where a lot of it went. Now, I'm not saying, here's the thing. You have to understand that a lot of money came in. Some of the money that came in, it wasn't earmarked specifically for certain things. And as such, there was the ability of these individuals to determine where the relief was being spent. All right. That does not mean that it's right or even legal to have pocketed a lot of that money for yourself, to have made sure that the money being spent would benefit you and your clique. I've had enough. And we, the people of Eastern Kentucky, have had enough of you corrupt son of a bitches preying upon the people and making sure that the people cannot say anything, because if they do, you're going to make sure that their water bill goes from $30 to $40 a month to $900 a month. You son of a bitches. Thank goodness cell phones weren't around where my kids came up. Yeah, hey, so the thing about it is that, man, oh man, these things, the average, and I looked this up about 4 years ago. At that point in time, the normal average adult in the United States, spent about 6 hours a day on their cell phone. 6 hours. Our children these days, I had 2 stepsons under what's going to be my previous marriage. They grew up with cell phones, and I was staunchly against children being given those devices, all right, until they reached a certain age. A lot of kids these days are growing up not knowing how to talk to the opposite sex. They don't know how to socialize, all right? We're losing that skill set because we're spending hours upon hours a day on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, all these other things. We're doing this, and there's a problem with that. And a lot of people give these devices to their kids so that they don't have to raise their kids, and the devices end up raising their kids. And there are predators out there, like in Eastern Kentucky. There are predators out there that contact our children through these social media platforms. Okay. Kentucky Hazard Boys, you are the man. Thank you so much. Hazard needed you so bad. Hey, I don't know if I'm the man. I know, by God, I'm able to do some stuff. And I know that there's a lot of people in Eastern Kentucky that are supporting me. And I know that the more people who join what's becoming a movement, you're damn right it is. A lot of people who are joining this movement that simply, I'm just saying stuff right now. I'm doing more than saying stuff. A lot of people that are joining this movement, we will get to the point where people are speaking up themselves. You're damn right we will. And the reason that will happen, there will be so many of us that those son of a bitches that are in power cannot hit us all. And the retribution from them hitting one of us will be more than they're willing to pay. And they will scurry. They will be like Saddam Hussein in that hole that he was found. All scraggly beard, like, that's what they will be like. And that's what we're looking for. So, I'm looking putting these son of a bitches in jail. I'm looking to get Bill Back's license revoked. The son of a bitch should not be practicing any form of medicine anywhere. He's a mandated reporter. He's supposed to have been protecting the community, the child victim of Noah Back, his son. He was supposed to be reporting that. He was not. He was harboring it. He was protecting it. He was helping to facilitate it because he was giving money to the parents of Noah Back's child victim, and the parents we're just fine. We're just fine. Yeah, you can take our daughter across state lines. Violation of the Mann Act, by the way. You can take. I do know a little bit about legal stuff. The Mann Act, for those who do not know, the term Great White Hope back in the day, and I forgot the guy's name was Mann, I think. There was this boxer. Back in the day, African-American, black people were not allowed to box white people. There wasn't a rule against it, but it didn't happen. And there was this one boxer, just by a fluke, a white guy, that comes up and he becomes heavyweight champion of the world. And he says, yeah, I'll box this black guy. Well, a black guy comes in and beats the absolute ever-loving dog shit right out of that white boxer. I mean, he beats him like he stole his cookies. It was on like, chicken bone. So he becomes heavyweight champion of the world. Well, this black guy beat the ever-loving dog shit out of every contender that was there. It got so bad that you come up with the term Great White Hope. And there was this one white boxer that everyone thought was going to beat the shit out of this black guy. And the black guy, and again, I forgot the name, this black guy agrees to box him. What happened was, it was a beatdown. The black boxer, back then you didn't have 15 or 12 rounds. It went until it was done, until somebody quit. All right. This black guy beat this white boxer, the Great White Hope, so bad he actually kept him propped up for several rounds until finally he put him down. The next day, riots happened across the United States, and white people were killing black people. As a result, someone, there was an outcry. You got to do something about this guy. They passed the Mann Act because this black man, not only was he beating the shit out of every white boxer, but he liked to sleep with white women a lot. So he's rubbing everybody's noses in it. All right. He liked to do it a lot. I mean, that's all he wanted. All right. To beat the shit out of white guys and to sleep with their women. That's all he wanted. So they passed the Mann Act, which said that, hey, transporting people across state lines for purpose of trafficking or sexual activity is a federal offense. That's how they got P. Diddy, by the way. All right. A federal offense. This black guy, he has to flee America. He goes over to France, and he's never the same. He becomes destitute, and that's what happens to him. The Mann Act, transporting minors across state lines for the purposes of sexual activity, is illegal, oddly enough. Bill Back, Angie Back, Noah Back did it. Angie Back and Bill Back, absolutely down with it. The parents of the child victim, okay with it. That don't make it okay. It makes it a federal crime. There's why in the hell? The only charges we've seen in this ATV, remember the focus here is an ATV accident. The focus here is two 16-year-olds riding with two adults. Both adults, predators. The 16-year-old that Noah Back had been grooming and raping since she was 14. She is not killed in the accident. Her friend is. Her friend was not being groomed by either of those two individuals. Noah Back was preying upon the 16-year-old that survived. Timothy Brown, gay individual, and I say gay because I want you to understand this, he was not trying to rape the other 16-year-old. The other 16-year-old was simply there as a friend to the one that survived. But he did have, this Timothy Brown was preying upon a male child. All right. And I don't know how long that had been going on. He was absolutely doing that. Why currently are the only charges that have been brought are against the surviving 16-year-old child for driving under the influence? Why? Why are those charges still pending? Why? Timothy Brown, you son of a bitch. Yeah, I bought, and this is what he said. Yeah, I bought alcohol, but them girls, they were drinking Smirnoff, and my receipts clearly shows that I didn't buy any Smirnoff at all. What the hell are you talking about, you son of a bitch? Was it Five Below that you were shoplifting at? Was that what it was? I mean, Walmart lets you back in. I wouldn't think that Walmart should have banned you. So was it Five Below you were shoplifting at? I got to tell you, Timmy, Five Below. When that title, that store name, what it means is $5 and below. It doesn't mean its customers are aged 5 and below. Stay the hell out of there too. Just lock yourself indoors, man. Lock yourself indoors. That's what we need. We need these son of a bitches that are doing this, that are preying upon everyone, that are committing these crimes, that are victimizing the people of Eastern Kentucky. We need them to be scared. And they're not. I mean, they're getting there. They're getting there. People wanted to know how I knew that Timothy Brown and Natasha Combs had been fired. Well, Lynn Whitaker told me. That's how I knew. I mean, come on, it's not rocket science. She had my number. I tried to call her on the air. She calls me back later in the day. You know, saw you tried to call. What's going on? And I told her. She's like, well, look, I'm firing both these people. They're going to be done. I'm like, okay. If I can do anything to help you, let me know. I appreciate it. You know, I want, you know, here's what we got to understand, that a lot of people saw this shit going on. A lot of people were okay with this shit going on. A lot of people didn't report this shit going on. We can't ostracize everyone. All right. Groups of people tend not to do anything because the rest of the groups not do anything about it. And when someone realizes that they've done something wrong and that they come into the fold of doing things right, we need to understand that people can change. That don't mean you, Scott. That don't mean you, Happy Mo Baloney. That don't mean none of that shit. You guys got shit coming. All right. Doesn't mean the Predators of Eastern Kentucky. You guys certainly got shit coming too. You got it coming. I mean, the people, the citizens that tended not to speak up and speak out, that tended not to report things, that were either scared or they just didn't notice it, or everyone else is going along with it. You know, when you come back into the fold, we need to accept people. And I'll tell you, when you do that, when you forgive and accept these individuals back into the group, those individuals tend to be the most dedicated toward doing the right damn thing. All right. We need to understand that people can change. Pedophiles cannot. They can't. Sorry. That's the one group that can't. All right. Pedophiles light. You guys who simply won't commit to being full pedophile, but you dream about it at night. You get those lap dances. You prey upon students because you're a teacher or a coach or a principal. Can't fix that bullshit either. You got that shit coming. You corrupt son of a bitches. You got that shit coming. All right. Twitter's a cesspool of dipshits. Yeah, I know they are. The electric issue is a whole different problem. It's controlled by corporations. I didn't say electric, but you know, they definitely manipulated that water bill price, didn't they? Like I'm with Alabama Power. They're raising prices here. You know, it's corporations that are preying upon people, and I call out corporations as well. Something else I wanted to talk about. And we're going to address these issues. We're going to combat these issues. We're going to win against these issues. People are going to jail. I will not stop. All right. Noah Back belongs behind the fence. Scott Alexander belongs behind the fence. Happy Mo Baloney, I'm hoping to put his ass behind the fence too. All right. That doesn't stop. And it doesn't end with that. We're going on. Okay. We're going on with this. We're not quitting. We're not stopping. We're going to continue until all of these people who have been victimizing the people are hiding like Saddam Hussein in that hole. That's what we're going to do. All right. Period. We need to understand that law enforcement, and I've gotten some people that have said, you know, Sheriff Joe Engel, he's a good one. He's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with him. You need to leave him alone. Just because he has done you a favor, he's done you a solid at some point, does not mean that he's a good law enforcement officer. It doesn't mean that. Law enforcement officers, it's not about them being good 90, 95% of the time, or 80% or 40%. It's not about that. It's that 5, 10, 20, 60% where they're not, where they're playing favorites, where they find some individual holed up in a house with a 17-year-old that had been reported missing, and they turn a blind eye to it. Or they find a girl at a high school that's passed out in a car, and they turn a blind eye to it. That's what this stuff is about. That's a good law enforcement officer. No favorites. The law, regardless. Somebody suggested I come out and I run for sheriff. Boy, that would be some shit. Former United States most wanted criminal, now sheriff of Perry County, Kentucky. The problem is that for some reason, people think that military experience translates to proper law enforcement, and it doesn't. They're two different things. All right. Law enforcement, what are they supposed to do? Serve and protect. Serve and protect. The military is not about serving and protecting. They're about killing people and breaking things. That's what they're about. That's their job. All right. They're not trained to handle street crime. All right. But when you hire a military person to come in like that, that mentality that they've been trained at with the military translates to a law enforcement officer that sometimes, a lot of the time, they don't know what the hell they're doing. You need proper training for that. All right. I have training on how to commit crime, how to prevent crime now, and how to shut down son of a bitches like what's going on in Eastern Kentucky. I have experience in that. All right. Maybe we needed some Buford T. Pusser. I've got my cricket bat over. I was going to show it. I'm not going to get up and get it, but I'll show it tomorrow because I guess some people think that I don't have a cricket bat and that I want to bludgeon someone to the other side on if they ever show up at my doorstep trying to threaten me. Stand your ground. I'll stand it swinging. All right. So moving right along. Joshua Sills. Tell him, brother. Smicky Mouse. Kids today call the shots. Parents aren't parenting. Do you know where your child is? That's the thing, right? I mean, we, as adults, we want better for our children. That tends to be what every generation wants. We want to make sure that things are better than we had it. And we've gotten to the point that, we let these devices raise our children. We give devices to kids at 8, 9 years old. We don't pay attention to what they're doing. We don't want to tell our children no. You only grow during times of hardship, Saying no is important. Saying no is important. It is, and I'm not saying, you say no and you're mean to a child, but, can I do this? No, not today. Well, I want to go here. Well, we're not doing that today. Sometimes you're the most important. Sometimes you're not. Period. Okay. I do know that it's our job as parents and as a community to make sure that the small people, the children, are growing up to be good, decent human beings. I know that we as parents, we need to understand that children lack their brains aren't fully developed yet. Males don't develop until their mid-20s. As such, they're not able to make fully rational decisions. It doesn't happen. And because of that, it's our job, our duty, and I said duty, it's our job to make sure that we make those decisions for those children. Kids can't, so we must until they are able to. All right? Regardless of what we do, as long as we are acting out of love, not anger, except toward the pedophiles and the corrupt individuals, but as long as we are acting out of love, we're going to get things right much more often than not. We're going to continue on that right path. All right. All right. So any other comments? Anybody got any questions, concerns, anything like that? By all means, ask. I'm going to shut this show down in a minute. So this week, we're calling Sheriff Joe Engle. Hey, Sheriff, how you doing? I got a couple questions for you. I do. Namely, why are those charges still pending? Why haven't you charged anyone else? What the hell is going on? Is it because you're too incompetent or too corrupt? Are you either? Are you both? These are questions the people want to know. Scott Alexander, we're going to be calling your dumb, ugly ass too. I use the term toward you, useful idiot. It was obvious in high school you were an idiot, all right? But you went on to a political career because you're a useful idiot. Those people that are in real power, they use you because they can control you. The problem is you are useful. The problem is you are also an idiot. As such, you've done stupid shit that's getting your ass in trouble. That's going to get your ass in trouble. That's going to land you behind the fence. So, as such, the idiot part is overpowering the useful part. And chances are those people in power Ain't going to put up with that. What those people in power don't understand is I ain't stopping with your ass. You know, I embrace the Middle Eastern philosophy of the friend of my enemy is my enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I will make sure that we get your ass, and then I'll go after their asses as well. This is how this goes. There is nothing you can do to stop it. You want to know why attacks happen, why this shit goes on, why does cybercrime, what motivates cyber criminals or a lot of crime? Status, cash, ideology. Status, I'm trying to impress my criminal peers. I don't give a shit about impressing anyone. Cash, I'm doing it to make some money. No, Scott, that's what you do. That's what you do. Try to make some money, try to gain some power. I used to be like that. And then ideology. I don't care who you are. I have a problem with you specifically. That's me. The most dangerous one is ideology because, I know I'm doing the right thing. The people of Eastern Kentucky know that they're doing the right thing. We are not going to quit. That is your ass. That's what that means. You get someone that's ideologically motivated. We do not stop. We cannot be bought off. We cannot be intimidated. You really think you're going to intimidate somebody who's, I've served prison time. I've been United States Most Wanted. I've been hounded by law enforcement. I literally screwed over the entire United States Secret Service while they're in the room looking at me. All right? I don't get intimidated. I don't cower. I can't be bought. I'm an ideologically motivated attacker, and I'm very competent at it. That means that's your ass. That's how this story goes. People who want to reach out to me, you have information. I do not divulge any name. I will not say anything that might disclose or, clue someone in as to who you might be. I don't do that. All right. There was an individual reached out to me yesterday. He said, hey, this story that I mentioned to you, I'm already getting some flack about him. And I was like, hey, man, I've not even mentioned it on my show. No one else knows about it. And because you're evidently getting some heat right now, I'm not even going to mention what that is because I don't want anyone coming after your ass. All right. And he's like, I know it wasn't you. I was like, okay. So I protect my sources, period. I don't give a damn who asks what they are. Understand that corruption is at the local, state, federal levels. All right. Absolutely. We're going to be touching upon all of that. I don't give a damn who I call out. I don't give a damn who gets angry, who gets in trouble. I don't care. The guilty will suffer. There are consequences for your actions. And you're going to face those consequences, period. All right. So understand that there are a lot of people out there who have been like me, for example. My federal case, there was some misbehavior on prosecution's part, on law enforcement's part, I don't know about the judge, but there was misbehavior. I've had 10 or 12 people reach out to me talking about how they have been victimized through the court system in Perry County, not the federal, but the court system in Perry County. I will absolutely address that. I am not too scared to do that. If you're local, state, Fed, FBI, I'm on good terms with the FBI. I still know that there's a shitload of corruption there. All right. I know that. But I also know that just because you have some corrupt people there doesn't mean that you can't use them to hit Scott Alexander, Happy Mobaluni, and all these other people. You can absolutely do that because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. We've had enough. By God, we've had enough. That's all there is to it. Bill back, I'm going to try to get your license revoked. Angie back, I'm going to try to make sure that your certificate, that you never have one again to walk into a school. Noah back. You probably still have the keys because your ass ran to Illinois to avoid being interviewed by law enforcement. Noah back. I'm going to try to get you behind the fence. You need to turn in those keys to the school systems, the schools that you had access to, because I'm sure your dumb, ignorant predator ass still has them. All right. That's that. Natasha Combs already got your ass fired. I need to know where her husband works because I want to get his ass fired too. Stepdad that he is, he was okay with this bullshit going on. All right. He was getting some money from Bill. Of course, he was all right with this bullshit going on. The two children, I reported Natasha Combs to Child Protective Services Friday. All right. There are consequences for your actions. We're going to make sure you face those consequences. Scott, I'm coming after you. Happy Mobilini. Mayor Donald Mobilini, I'm coming after you. All right. Joe Engel, do your damn job. Do your damn job. All right. Enough of this favoritism bullshit. Drop the charges against this other child. DUI, serious. When Noah Back and Timothy Brown bought him alcohol. Do you not know the Kentucky law? Do I need to repeat it to you? How about Googling it? If you're too lazy to Google it, ask ChatGPT. It will tell you. All right. It will probably tell you to do your damn job too. Good advice. All right. Do your damn job. All right. The corrupt in Perry County, not only Perry County, but throughout, because we're going to take it county by county. The corrupt throughout Eastern Kentucky, your days are numbered. We're going to level that playing field. The people of Eastern Kentucky are going to stand tall, stand proud, and stop putting up with your bullshit. That time has ended. All right? You just don't know it yet. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. Kentucky Hazard Boys. Like I said, you will be blessed, sir, for what you're doing for Hazard, Kentucky, or any of Kentucky. I don't know when it will come or how, but the people of Kentucky are happy you're helping against it all. Thank you. Hey, no, it's not just me. You know, it started out just me, but it quickly, there's evidently a need for someone to be able to speak up that they can't do anything to. All right. And not only can I speak up, but I have enough connections out there that by God, something will be done. All right. People have been reaching out to me. So it's us. It's us. It's we. All right. We are doing this. Emerson 2, you fuck off. If you want a good laugh, look into Scott Blair. Hey, I know Scott Blair. He was the county attorney. He was trading drugs for butt sex. He's now in prison. Well, Jesus Christ, he should be getting all of the butt sex he wants in prison. County attorney. When I was a child, Stephen Tackett was one of the judges. And, like Letcher County, Kentucky, we've got a lot of, we've got that, I guess the sheriff goes in and he blows one of the judges away. Why? Well, the judge was involved in using his position of power to force individuals coming through the court system to engage in sex parties. All right. I guess the sheriff had some problems with that. Good. And he blew the guy away. I can't say, I'm not supposed to say that makes me happy, but I'll probably do a nice little dance after this show just in remembrance of it. Stephen Tackett was one of these guys that liked to party with people. He was married. He had a daughter, everything else. I don't know if they knew it. They probably did. But this corruption has been going on forever. And the disparity between rich and poor has gotten to the point that the rich and powerful are so intertwined, like Happy Mobiluni and Scott Alexander. I guess their names are just about on everything in Hazard, in the Hazard city limits. So the people there are scared to death because they've got their small thing. And if they speak up, something's going to be done against them. They're going to lose their job. They're going to have their utilities increased. They're going to face these consequences that would destroy them. All right. Because that disparity between rich and poor is so great. They've got the new judges that come in, they threaten them to get them to toe the line. And they pay them off because money is a powerful motivator to victimize other people. Ideology is a stronger motivator. And that's where we are. All right. That's why we will win. Not only because of that, it's because we are doing the right damn thing. That's why we will win. You know, you have several different courts out there, and I'm going to end with this thought. Okay. You have several different courts. You have the judicial court, all right, where we're going to put some people behind bars. You have that. You have the court of public opinion. That's what we have adjourned so far. You know, we're conducting the trial in the public, and there's consequences in the judicial, and there's consequences in the court of public opinion. You have the court you hold inside of yourself when you do something, the guilt you feel, the process of making amends toward yourself and your soul to become a better human being, or to deny the charges and become a worse human being. And then you have the court that's on the other side, you know, that judgment day where a God looks at you and says, what in the fuck have you done? And you get to try to rationalize, justify, admit, confess, and go from there. You have all these courts that are out there. Just because we see some of these people, these predators like Happy, Mapaluni, that he may not go to jail for that stuff. That does not mean that the court of public opinion can't find him guilty and can't have harsh consequences toward that individual. Ostracized, looked at funny whenever he walks into Walmart, whenever he sits down at a meal at Thanksgiving with the rest of his family people, that they're looking at him like, that's that son of a bitch right there. That's him right there. That's him. That's the court of public opinion. We can only hope that he himself, and I know he's not, that he himself feels some sort of guilt or remorse or regret over victimizing other people in the county so that he can profit and gain power, but he doesn't. And then finally, that court that's on the other side, when you cross over, I sincerely hope that judgment is harsh. Right now, we can do the public opinion for a lot of these people, and that's exactly what we need to be doing. My name is Brett Johnson. If you got any information, please reach out to me. I will address it. I promise you that. Do you know Emerson 2, you fuck off? Do you know Johnny Cummins, hairdresser at Vico? So I was in high school at Dills Combs. It was 1988. I looked at Carol Combs, my English teacher, and I said, hey, where can I go to get my hair? I want something different. And she looked at me, she's like, Johnny Cummins, Vico. So I didn't know. I walked down there. I didn't walk, I drove down there. Walked into his shop. There's Johnny. I like Johnny. There's Johnny. And I sit down in his chair and he's like, what do you want? I was like, I don't know, dude. Give me something different. And I had this kind of long hair and everything. And he's like, ski slope. I was like, what the hell's that? And he's like, that's what you want. I was like, that's what I want. So you shave the sides. And you come up with this kind of, mullet thing that comes all the way back and kind of dovetails or ducktails into a ski slope at the end. And I was like, by God, that's what I wanted right there. Now, I'm bald right now, probably because of that damn ski slope, ultimately. All right. So, Kentucky Hazard Boys, what all platforms do you go live on? So, today is live on Facebook, YouTube. I'm usually live on LinkedIn, but for some reason their platform shit the bed this morning. I got a notification coming through StreamYard here saying, hey, LinkedIn's having problems, so try again later. I was like, okay. So we're going to be going live on those three platforms, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Probably going to be adding a live Twitter feed to it. Spotify, I guess, used to be able to go live, or I guess they got rid of that. They weren't making any money on that. But that's where we are, okay? Emerson 2, Johnny Cummins, Scott Alex, Scott Blair, and Happy Mob, they found a briefcase behind the fire department in Vico full of dildos with their names on it. In prison where Scott Blair is, and soon to be visited by Scott Alexander, you don't really have dildos. I guess you could get some in, but you don't really need dildos. Turns out for a lot of men that if you lock them up with other men, they become what prison people call gay for the stay. You know, I guess a hole is a hole. That's the way predators are. That's the way predators are. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. We, the people of Eastern Kentucky, we are a proud people. We are a proud people. We stand tall. We do speak up, speak out. We have had enough of what is going on. We will not stand for it anymore. My name is Brett Johnson. It's the Brett Johnson Show, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central. The rest of this week, we are making phone calls live on the air. We are getting shit done. We are demanding the right thing be done. And we are going to end this show the same way we end it every single day. My name is Brett Johnson. It's the Brett Johnson Show. Thank you so much for listening in. Until next time, just do the right damn thing.